conflict. It will happen when there is a different opinion or principle between people, or if one person disagree to the ideas or opinions of others. This is commonly happen in the workplace. To resolve the conflict, both parties should have control because it's help for example, it's help managers of the hotel to monitors the change of the environment inside and outside of the hotel, and also the effect of the process of company. Through this, there will be a tendency to avoid from any troubles or problem. Also, resolving conflicts needs a careful action and decision so that will not lead to some trouble or distrust by the operation. The best way to resolve the conflict is to respond constructively. It means that when there is a conflict happening, we should respond positively or constructively, like let's resolve the issue for the sake of everyone. Having these attitudes show that we want to a good atmosphere inside the workplace or in any place, and avoiding troubles that might happen because of the disagreement or conflict.
Constructive characteristic. Actively responds to the good news and interest and enthusiasm. Ask questions that help to almost experience the moment. The conversation is the pleasant and joyful one for both participants. Body language. Leaning into the conversation. An increase in movement, hand gesture. People might try to show something on their phone to help communicate the experience. Constructive is a way of responding when someone shares good experiences or information. If the receiver of the good news actively and constructively responds, it can often provide a boost in well-being to both people involved in the conversation. Sometimes when we're having a conversation, most of us forget to let the other person know that we're listening and understand, which can lead to arguments or misunderstandings. Asking questions and showing supportive reaction will help the other person feel understood. When you use constructive responding or ACR to react, you magnify the excitement the person is sharing. ACR builds trust, connection, intimacy, and satisfaction in your relationship. It also boosts your own overall well-being and reduces conflicts. But when stress is high, you're more likely to fall into one of three other patterns that can damage your relationship over time. Luckily, taking a few minutes to apply ACR can help you experience positive emotion, lower your stress, and build strong supportive relationship. ACR, according to Gavel, 2004, paper for studies completed examine the effects of ACR for people in intimate relationship or longer than 3 months as well as a married couple. In this case, the active constructive responding strategy brings individuals closer together by indicating that responders believe that the event is significant and also that the relationship between those individuals is significant. Results that Gavel found. Personal benefits: increased positive emotion, increased subjective well-being, increased self-esteem, and decreased loneliness. While the relationship benefits, these are increased relationship or marital satisfaction, increased intimacy, increased commitment, increased trust, liking, and closeness, and lastly, increased stability.
Conflict become more difficult to resolve and crisis situation may develop if we allow it to persist, either by ignoring it or swiftly brushing it aside. This following could help with resolving this fight. Questioning. One can completely investigate the problem and their effects by questioning. Listening. By actively listening and paraphrasing, you can show that you understand what you're hearing. Finding mutual goals, recognizing areas of agreement, and locating goals that are shared. Reaching consequences. After deciding on a course of action, one or more parties may be able to reach consequences. confirmation, and ongoing support. The issues and the recommended action should be outlined and continuing help should be given.
So now, let's talk about self-talk. What is self-talk? Self-talk is your internal dialogue. It's influenced by your subconscious mind and it reveals your thoughts, beliefs, questions, and ideas. It is the chatter that goes on constantly in our minds. It is what you tell yourself about what is happening around you. Yung self-talk nga daw, ito nga yung internal dialogue o yung inner voice natin. Ito nga yung pagkakausap natin sa ating sarili. Hindi yung kakausapin mo na para kang baliw. Ito yung sa isip lang natin. Parang yung realization, ganun. It influenced by your subconscious mind. And minsan you might not be aware that you're doing it, but you almost certainly are. So dito ito nga, it is the chatter that goes on constantly in our minds. Ito nga yung kinakausap natin sa sarili natin, sa isip natin. So it is what you tell yourself about what is happening around you. Dito pumapasok din yung positive self-talk saka negative self-talk. Yung example sa positive self-talk, ito yung sabihin natin na I can do it. Na kaya natin to kasi kaya nila. Magagawa natin to kasi magagawa nila. Sa negative self-talk naman, ito yung pumapasok naman dito yung negative na sabihin natin sa sarili na hindi natin kaya to kasi kahit di pa natin magagawa. Ganun yung maiisip natin. Kasi negative niya tayo. To change your self-talk, you must first identify unhelpful and unrealistic self-talk. Ito yung easiest way para mabago yung self-talk natin. Ito nga daw, thinking of times when you feel strong, negative, unhelpful emotions. Second, identify what situation happened just before the emotion. 3. Working out what your self-talk is about that emotion. Pero sinasabi lang dito about sa parang puro about sa emotions. Dito sa una, pag-isipan muna natin na huwag tayo magpapadalagad sa emotion natin. Sa pangalawa naman, ito yung alamin muna natin kung ano ba yung nangyayari para mas makapag-react tayo ng tama na hindi tayo pangunahan ng emotion natin. Dito naman sa pangatlo yung working out that your self-talk is about that emotion. Ito yung parang pra-practice mo kapag nasa sitwasyon palaging pra-practice na maging kalmado ka lang, huwag kang papangunahan ng emotion na yun. Parang, ayun nga, puro sa about emotion na huwag tayong pangunahan agad ng emotion. So, yun lamang. Sana kahit pa paano may natutunan kayo. Thank you.
The nonverbal communication is the process of conveying meaning without the use of words, either written or spoken. In other words, only communication between two or more persons through the use of facial expressions, hand movement, body language, postures, and gestures is called as nonverbal communication. These are the example of nonverbal communication that shows someone is listening. Leaning toward the person, good eye contact, nodding and other encouragement, and moving to a location that is free of distraction. Reflective listening. What is reflective listening? It is a communication technique in which listener tries to understand the speaker's idea and then communicates it back to them to confirm it was understood correctly. Why reflective listening is important? It is important because it helps the listener understand the message, it helps the speaker deliver a clear message. Also, it reduces the odds of two people mistakenly believing they have an understanding.
The assertive message. The state of behavior, non-judgmentally. I feel disclose your feelings because clarify the effects on your life. In the first part, the state of behavior in a non-judgmental way. You don't accuse or attack. You just say what they did. When you don't help with the dishes. In the second part, you say how it makes you feel. I feel frustrated. In the third part, you clarify effects on your life. Because it creates extra work I have to do. Here and two more example. When you do not correct that kid for their negative behavior, I feel angry because It's make me look like the bad guy when I do correct them. When you turn in your reports late, I feel irritated because it puts me behind in my work.
Hi, I am Marciani Vicente from Group 2. Collaborating problem solving. When using collaborative problem solving of work with the other person to solve the problem, rather than trying to win agreement or convince the person to accept your view. Focuses on solving the problem rather than attacking the person. Involves the working together than each other. Looking for a solution that all the parties can be happy with. Means being open with creative solution. Involves exploring the needs to interests of all the involved. It avoids either the performing to come up with many solutions. Number 1, define the problem and the item of needs. Number 2, generate option. Number 3, brainstorming is useful to generate many ways without evaluating them. Number 4, select solution. Number 5, plan solution and carry out. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am GB Lisangan from BSHM 3A, and here are some tips in dealing with anger or other high emotions. The first one is you need to deal with any strong emotion before you can actually get down and resolve a conflict. Don't try to solve problems until emotions are diffused. The second is use reflective listening to understood people and to make them feel understood. If they are being unreasonable, they will usually show that too. The third is don't give your opinion until you feel like you really understood them. The fourth is if they are standing up, try to get down to sit down. It's hard to stay as angry when you are sitting down. The fifth is sit beside them rather than across from them. Don't have anything dividing you. And the sixth is don't get drawn into an argument. Second to the last is if they get derogatory or hateful to you, you can tell them to come back when they have calmed down. And the last is sometimes when it appears that there's a problem, just listening reflective may show that you really agree. And here are some points to consider when solving a conflict. First one is don't worry about assigning blame. It creates bad feelings and sets you up for a competition rather than collaboration. The second is if possible, take the time to plan the process. Think through needs and rights of both parties. Work out what you will say. Think what response you might get. And the last is, remember that conflicts can be destructive or constructive. Have positive attitude of working out how to solve a problem together and you are halfway there. Deal with strong emotions before you try to solve a problem.
My name is Nileron Alvarez and I discuss the responding to the client complaints.
Responding to the client complaints. A guest complains expressions of dysfunctions on guest's behalf the responsible party. This can be also describe the positive sense of report from the service providing the documents about the problem with the product and service. It's the special types of conflict situation. Customers will tell there's bad experience. Word of mouth creating the significant marketing change. Responding to the client complaints refers the act of acknowledging to addressing the issue or concern raised by the customer and clients regarding the product and service involves to listening the clients, understanding the problem and providing the satisfactory resolutions that needs to expectations of the clients. Effectively to handling the requires of good communication skill, empathy, and willingness to resolve the issue timely. The goal of the responding to the client complaints to build the trust, maintaining the positive reputations, and ensuring the customer satisfaction.
And we have the 5 steps to resolving the conflict. First one is listening the guest with the empathy. Be interested with the guest was to say. Be invested to needs their feeling with the verbal and non-verbal behavior. Also, the guests use the soundband let with them without the judging them. Getting the defensive or being critical. Second is the summarize the problem and ask the question clarifies. Helpful the question might include the what can I do improving the situation? What can I see as the solution in the problem? What I really tried to do to improve it? And number 3, if possible, offer the 2 alternatives solution to choose between. Offer the alternative options, example in accommodation. Offer the another room with freebies or move them to another room. In number 4, follow through and follow up. Listening and found out all the problems and solve them according to the conflict. In last one, in number 5, ensure the satisfaction. This is especially important when the customer has the problem or the conflict. Get the feedback about the service and improve it.
And we have the pointers to remember. First one is do not take the comments of the anger personally. The guest will be emotionally and angry, but it is not to help for the respond emotionally. Second is make sure the customer feel the trust to understand them. Listening to them and trying to understand them. Third is, if the customer emotionally, you have need to spend sometimes listening to help them to calm down. Offer the option that fair with the both organization and customer. Don't blame the another organization. Don't blame the organization. In fact, avoid the lying blame at all. With the conflict situation, usually serves no purpose.